What's up, everybody?
I knew you'd beat me this time.
I got him. Amanda asked me when we was listening to one on the way to Chattanooga. She's like, "Do y'all try to see who can get out there first?"
We really don't though. I mean, it's like we both pop up, and it's like, okay, who's gonna say it first?
Right.
Anyway,
it's awkward, so we just start yelling it.
So what's up, Bruce? Jeff and Amanda and Bruce? We were just talking about. Sorry, Bruce. We always talk about your old butt.
What's up, Justin?
We love you though. But anyway, I've got to do a quick shout out because today is my wife's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mandy!
29th and holding. So happy birthday, babe. Love you, and hopefully maybe tomorrow or something we can actually celebrate. My father-in-law had a knee replacement about right now a month ago, and it hasn't gone too well as far as a recovery. He started building up with fluid around it, leaking out after they took the staples out. So today they actually had to do an outpatient surgery again, open it back up, clean it out, drain all the fluid, restaple it. So that's where she's been all day on her birthday. So
it's a way to spend it.
Yep.
Dragos, Evan.
What's up, E.T.?
I'm excited for this show. Just to say, last week on vacation, I was like, I can't wait for next week's show. So I've been super stoked about it.
Well, we took 2 weeks off so we could have two guests on tonight. So
that's it. Yeah.
Without any further ado, we'll just go ahead and bring them on here. But really wanted to kind of get to know these guys on a personal level, how they got to know each other, how they became friends, and how they started their original podcast, which a lot of us, have listened to a bunch.
I've learned so much from it.
But anyway, let's go ahead and bring them on. We got Keith Cosentino and Shane Jacks, or Ryan Jacks, whatever you want to call him. What's up, fellas?
What's going on? How are y'all?
Hey, how y'all doing?
We already know because we spoke to you for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to pretend like we haven't talked for 30 minutes. This is all a pretend.
So how's the weather where y'all are? Because here it's been, at least 115 most of the time. And today was pleasantly 74 this morning. And then 89 today with a real feel of 97, which felt like wintertime compared to what it's been like.
It is 107 here today.
No humidity though, so
it's a dry heat. It's different.
It's a dry heat. Not like down here.
That's the same saying is like when you tie something down in your truck and you have to say when you're done, that ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
You got to pat it.
I have to say it.
You have to say it.
Yes.
That's a dad thing there. They ain't going
Hey, Drago said he started listening to you guys a year before he even got trained. I remember working for Dent Wizard and somebody told me about PDR College and turned and I was like, man, it's like, wow. Just blew my mind. So you guys are crushed it.
We opened a lot of eyes. I mean, ours as well by bringing people on, but there's still so many guys like Bruce who were just doing their thing on an island. And then, I think we got in front of Bruce with an email. He's like, what's this all about? And now here he is, talking to guys online like a real nerd.
But he can back it up with skill. So
heck yeah,
good.
You can bring it.
Yeah. So
you guys are asking about our history, how we met, and all that kind of stuff. We got into PDR. Shane's intro into PDR, I think, is actually more interesting than mine.
All right, Shane, you go
first. Is that my cue? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
How'd you get started into PDR?
Got hired at the BMW plant as a mechanic. A few months later, the Dent guy quit that they brought from another facility. The group that I was in was the import car processing center. So not the cars built here, the ones coming over. We were in inland port, basically. So panic time. And who wants to go to California, Oxnard, which is like 10 miles from Malibu, to train for 2 weeks? Everybody's hand goes up. And I was about fifth in seniority at the time. I'm like, well, I ain't going. I'm 19 at the time. I've been working there 5 or 6 months at this point. And there's one caveat. The travel group isn't up yet. You have to pay your own way, and we'll pay you back in about a month. Everyone's hand went down. because I was smart enough to save my money. And I think, believe it or not.
Hey, I'm surprised I was not at 19 there. Saving was the last thing on my mind.
That is legit how I got started. And
that's awesome.
That's
learned
cool.
absolutely nothing in Oxnard. And came back, and Germans trained me from there on out. And hence the blending craze started 15 years later or whatever.
And learning on BMWs too. Wow. Like, I mean, after that, you're like, I can do anything now.
Yeah.
BMWs are not easy vehicles to work on.
Yeah, exactly. And
did you have to learn it on the line?
No, I was taught offline, but then shortly into it, I was online working on the cars as they moved. So you got to get quick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you transporting your mind back to that time, like what was the expectation of the finished work back then compared to now? Is it the same, or were they letting it go wavy back then?
You talking about interior of the plant, or were you talking in general PDR?
When you were learning in the plant, like what was done? Were they glassing stuff, in the 90s?
Pretty much, yes. Because the QC audit is vicious there, and it was worse then than it is now. 5 years in, they were trying to impress. They were trying to make the American plant. The Americans were trying to prove something, right? So the QC, the audits were way more strict than the German audits, basically. So they were nitpicking the crap out of stuff.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying that I didn't slip stuff past.
Yeah.
And they only audited 2 cars a day out of the hundreds that were going down the line. So chances are I got away with stuff.
Right.
Sometimes I didn't.
Was it usually a stamping issue where it's the same dent on every one of them?
A lot of it, yeah. But there was a lot of that. And then, sunroof assemblies that are put in by this robot with these little feelers on top to feel the roof. If the calibration was off by 1 millimeter, it would put this big dent where the rollers were on the roof in front of the sunroof. And by the time we caught it, those were X5s I'm talking about. Higher up, no one saw it. By the time it got to the QC area, not the audit, but just the QC area, there were like 3 stages of QC. By the time I got to the QC area, there's 150, 200 cars in process. The headliners are up. And so it was a lot of stuff like that,
Okay.
But stamping, yeah. Before we caught it at the end, the stamping issues there would be thousands of parts in line.
Right.
So, you could count on for the next 3 weeks, you're working on this same little stamping issue,
Yeah.
Half the time they didn't fix it. They would think they would fix it and make it worse. It's stuff like that.
Right.
But a lot of backing into poles and doors opening into. It's basically what we fixed today was 50% of what we did in there.
Yeah.
Door beams and stuff like that. So.
Right. If y'all don't know, Shane's phone does this all day, every day. I hear the ding, 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 ding.
Actually, it's my ring cameras outside my house. I guess my family is just running around out there. So.
That's how it is when my son's at home cutting grass. Every time he goes by the front, I'm like, what the hell's going on? But that's it.
All right, so Bruce just threw that comment up there, and you guys were asking me about the Bruce story. So this is a story from Bruce. So the first PDR College seminar, we were marketing the podcast just via email, and the industry was a little smaller back then and a little tighter. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody agreed to send an email for us, whether it was a tool company or something, just to tell other techs about it. So I think Bruce landed on an email and said, whether these guys started listening to the podcast and decided to come to the seminar. But it was the first one we ever did. So it went great, but we didn't have signs, like arrows pointing which way to go. So he went and we subletted the space from the Mobile Tech Expo people, right? So as far as the hotel knew, we didn't exist. So Bruce flies out and his wife's like, you sure about this? You're going out to Florida and you're paying money to go see some guys you never met before? And he's like, oh, it's fine. So he goes to the front desk and he's like, I'm here to check in for the PDR College seminar. They're like, no, there's nothing like that here. Like, it got me.
Awesome.
I knew it. She was right. Like all wives, they're right.
Was that
came
Oh,
to
he had been swindled.
yeah, no, but it wasn't a swindle. He made it back there. We had a great time, and yeah, now Bruce. It's a really cool part of the story, like connecting to all these guys online, and offline, and then making actual real friendships, all based on an email and a podcast. It's pretty cool. But
Absolutely.
so it's kind of like how Shane and I met. There was this super nerdy forum called doording.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, don't forget my wife's name tag. It was her credit card.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, it was her credit card, so her name was on the registration. Hey, we are equal opportunity seminar producers. We will accept women and children if they want to pay.
Hey, Bruce Halverson, yeah, you're not on the list, sir.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
That's awesome.
So I actually had one of my local buddies that started at the den company that we both used to work at. He was telling me about this forum, and I thought it kind of sounded interesting. This is way before Facebook and all this stuff. Maybe Facebook was up, but they didn't have the group presence. Yeah. So I'm like, it kind of sounds interesting. So I got on there, and I think when looking back on my history, like I find a forum that I like, and I kind of like geek out on it a little bit, and like checking it 5 times a day. And that's how I was with doording.com. And Shane was posting stuff that he fixed a lot. And Shane he's an amazing technician. He doesn't post a lot of his stuff anymore, but he's really, really freaking good. And he was posting stuff, and it was out of my reality. So I'm like, that's not real. And then he was posting times on how fast he did it. I'm like, well, then it's double not real, because number one, and if you can fix it, it's going to take 2 days. And he's like, I did it in 2 hours. He's like showing pictures of an analog clock on the wall as if this is some kind of irrefutable proof that it's done in an hour. And then he's like, oh, and by the way, I don't even push him out. I just hit him with this thing. And then they're flat. I'm like, you're
stretching.
we had friendly banter, but I was like, no, dude, no. I'm like, you're telling me, just to get this straight, there's a dent, and you do a bunch of little whacking around it, and then it looks, and it's flat.
Then it's gone.
That's how it works. I'm like, no, dude, I'll put my eyes on it, and I'll see all your little bumpy bumps, all whatever you did to it. And then you'll probably give me the money that we're going to bet that I can still see it. So we met out at the Mobile Tech Expo, and I had a rental van. I'm like, let's go, boy. And we had a couple guys around us because they knew we were like doing this. And he put a big dent in it, like a good palm dent, not a blending.
Not a productivity.
Not in his favor. And luckily for him, it was like a Chrysler with a really thick peel. It was like a disgusting car, but he did it, and I was like, okay, I am completely wrong. That's amazing, and we're gonna be best friends now.
And history
when he comes to the blending whatever at Mobile Tech seminar.
So you guys know at Mobile Tech, sometimes they recruit people to come and teach a little free class. So the blending thing had been growing, and they asked Shane to come teach this class.
Yeah. So first year I was with a couple other guys. Second year they just asked me to do it by myself, and I've got this. I brought a rail off the car, cameras, and everything.
Oh yeah, you brought a whole freaking quarter in a rail.
Yeah, a quarter in a rail, and set it up, and it's on camera, and it's on a big screen, and Keith is back there at the end of it, and people are coming up going, dude, that was cool. That was awesome. Yada, yada, yada. And this is no joke. He's standing back there with his crew, his boys. Right? And he's like this. And I'm walking back, and he goes, I'm Keith. We had never met face to face at this point. He goes, hey, Shane, I'm Keith. And he goes, still don't believe it. That's how we got out to the van. Was because he was like, I want you to show me one-on-one. And I was like, all right. At this point online, we were pretty good with each other. I had started actually doing my phone, where you couldn't fake the time, know. And one of his comments was, "Oh, dang, you actually are doing that quick." If y'all don't know this about me, I like to be right.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if anybody knew that about me.
but he likes to take you the long way around to get there.
Oh, for sure.
All the way out.
Kind of drag you through the mud.
No shortcuts. We're not doing any shortcuts.
No
In his past life, he was a really good-looking girl. Bring and go, put you back away, back and forth.
I do have to say that, I think a lot of us, when you started kind of doing the blending and kind of putting it out there, even for me, I was like, until I had to try it and keep trying and realize that, it freaking works. You have a good, soft, dense, on the rails, and you can sit there and just, I'm still nothing like you, but still going through that now. I'm like, I'd rather sit there and blend just about everything I can out now until cold glue came along.
Oh man. Honestly, it has just been in the last 3 or 4 weeks that I've really actually started using cold glue.
Yeah.
I wasn't using it correctly, the temperature, all that, I would pick it up, it wouldn't work, I'd just throw it down. And then the last few weeks I've been fixing great.
But it's like, you could see it when you're finally looking at it and getting the vibrations around it and seeing it just all disappear. You could actually see some of them, start to slightly raise up, which really it's just kind of blending it all out.
But I honestly think they're raising up some. We won't get into all that.
Yeah.
Crap! I lost my train of thought. This happened.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Which cold glue are you on, Shane?
So if it's hot panel, I'm using that Sergio's.
Which color? The red one?
Yeah, they got
that red. And just using regular black Glexo, or however you say it, in here in the shop. That black Glexo is doing real. Now there may be something better. If y'all know,
that's what's working for you.
I'm using blue. Blue's supposed to be the one that rips dents out of steel bumpers and shit, but I don't know. It works consistently for me every time. And if I have a soft dent that I don't want to go crazy on, I just lightly touch it to it and pop it, and it's freaking gold.
What temperature? Are you in a hot shop or?
No, we keep it about 72 here.
Yeah, but what I've noticed with the blue is, it'll pull the shit out of something. But when it's hot out here, it'll start.
It gets tacky. Yeah.
So I do keep the red on too and the blue on too, and
I found it's very, very sensitive to temperature in a really tiny window. Like it's too hard and it's not sticky at all, and you hit it with a heat gun and it almost melts. So you got to get it right in that right range, and then it works really great.
Right.
Here in the shop, it's we keep it 70. Try to keep it around 70.
Must 75. Be nice having air conditioning.
You can have it. I told you how to get it.
I'm waiting on my neighbor to bring me
how to call somebody else. It's too hot.
No, I can't.
But I've got it with the humidity here. Same thing with where you guys are.
Yeah.
Just with that black, if I flash it with the yellow, with the map gas.
Yeah.
If I flash each area for a second and a half, 2 seconds, that black is just perfect.
Right. Kevin Bird said try Elmer's glue. That sounds about right.
The same thing for me over and over again in PDR. It's like where there's a new thing out, I don't think it works, and then somebody has to prove it to me, and then I miss out on all the time of using it. So first it was the blending, then it was a shrinky box. Well, first it was glue pulling, honestly. That's not going to work. Then blending, then shrinky box, then cold glue. Like all this stuff comes out, and I'm like, I don't know. Let me just let everyone else fool with it for a while. But if you just get on this stuff faster, you're gonna they're not out there for no reason. Once in a while you get duds, once in a while. But most of the stuff, if more than one or two people tell you it's good, it's probably good. But you have to slow down to learn it, and I'm very impatient.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I bought a jackhammer as soon as them things came out for sale, and I still can't play them worth of shit. So
I'm losing the skill. I don't mind telling you, I'm not nearly as good as I used to be.
Glue pot.
Well, yeah, it's like anything. You got to keep at it.
Right.
So. I just shake too bad, and my shoulders are shot. I can't hold myself. I'm old. I went by. Was going to lunch last week or something, and I go by this brand new apartment complex right up down the road from the shop, and really nice. I'm like, man. So there's a girl with Tech One of my partners, Brandon. His daughter is here helping through the hail. She's learning CCC and all that stuff. So anyway, she goes, oh, those are nice apartments. And it said adult community, 55 and up. And I went, 6 years and I can get in there. That's bull crap.
I'm sold. Is there a waiting list?
And I told her, I said, if I still feel the way I do, I'm going to get in that place and I'm going to party. They're going to raise it to 65.
That's not what it means when it says adult community, Shane.
Yeah.
Bruce will be your next door neighbor.
I've always heard there's those few, women and men in the retirement communities that are just like the horn dogs.
Speaking of old, here's Kevin Bird again. Gotta get a fake ID, he said.
Kevin, Keith and I have talked about Kevin's skill in networking and just knowing everybody. And Kevin and I really had never even spoken until last year at MTE.
Really?
I don't know if he didn't like me or what. I don't like anybody, so I can understand that side of it. He comes, and we actually had a lot of conversation. What's that?
Oh, Josh is making a comment. He knows about those adult communities.
Upside down pineapples.
But I'm up here at I bought my wife a car a couple of months ago, and Kevin, I hope you're listening. I don't know the guy's name, but there's a guy, the new car manager, or maybe he's the GM, and he said, "You're a dent guy, huh?" Because when I came in, they had hail damage cars, and the one that my wife wanted had already been repaired. One of the ones she was looking at, and they go, "You want that one?" I went, "No, that repair is terrible." And he's like, "Huh?"
It was Kevin Bird.
Like, no, once again. And so I'm looking down the hood and I'm showing the salesman. I was like, that's not good. And he goes, "Yeah, I know. It's what we got though." So he goes and tells the general manager that I'm a dent guy, and he goes, "Hey, do you know Kevin Bird?" I'm like, "What?" And he knows Kevin. So I didn't get his name. He knows Kevin. I said, "Yeah, he's something else." He goes, "Oh, he's something else." Yeah, there's some stories there. I don't know what they are, but there's some stories there.
Me and somebody's talking about him today. He's like, "Yeah, he tried to call me the other day, and I called right back, but he didn't answer." I was like, because he immediately called the next person in line that he's got to call for the day. He calls everybody all day. I'm like, "How do you get shit done?" Bang, bang, bang. He's like, "Hold on, here, wait, you got to hear my polisher." We love Kevin.
Yep, we do.
Okay. We got along last year for sure, and it's just I don't know why we had never talked before. But,
well, y'all are both like, you're so busy, he's so busy at the MTE and stuff. It's hard to lock down at MTE. It's so big and wide open. Like, get home, like, man, I meant to talk to so and so or this and that. It's like, I don't have time. Like, when would I fit that in?
Not something I say.
Well, if you're not hanging out, after the show at night at the pool bar and stuff like that, that's the only time you really have the kind of.
And with you guys being so famous, I understand why you stay away from that.
Yeah, my hand is sore by the end of the day. Signature.
I remember Hudson Tangi I think it was on Tool Time one time talking about somebody came up to him asking for an autograph. He's like, "No, like, wow, it's not that."
It's very weird.
I could,
Or, "Hey, can I get my picture with you?" Okay. Yeah, sure.
That's not the hard part. The hard part is after you sign it, when you see it on eBay, you got to pay $300 or $400 for it yourself, just so you
Got the market.
Yeah.
We got one autograph picture out there, and Kevin Bird's the one that owns that picture.
And we're not dressed like idiots to take the picture in that one.
Yeah,
we're not Bert and Ernie and Troll Dolls. All right, so we'll kind of get into how y'all got started with the podcast, like why y'all decided to do that, and
we never heard how Keith got into PDR.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Oh, all right.
He said it was boring.
He said it'd be quick.
So went in high school, did all the ROP classes for, at least that's what they call it here, regional occupational program. So I'm like, oh well, I can get high school credit to go work on cars. Like, yeah, and it's off site. Yeah. So I did like engine machine work, general automotive and auto body, and learned a lot in all of them. Realized I don't want to do that job. All the guys were miserable, all the adults that I met doing it. But I liked having the knowledge because I was a gearhead. And I was talking about this the other day, actually, with Shane on the show. When you grow up with no money, you kind of have to be a gearhead whether you want to or not. Because you're not going to be able to get anywhere if you don't know how to put a water pump in your car, because ain't nobody coming to do it for you and you can't take it anywhere. So I needed to know how to work on cars, but I liked it. Yeah. So I saw this stuff, and then I was at a car show, and the local dent guy was an ex-wizard, one of the first dent wizard guys. Then he quit and did what everybody does, right? And he was advertising at this show, and he's like, yeah, when it's done, it's perfect. But he wasn't doing demos. And I was like, they didn't teach me that in the school. So either the school's wrong or this guy's not telling me the truth, like something's up. And I was just curious at that point.
Yeah.
So I was kind of looking into it out of curiosity. But internet was in its infancy. The information wasn't as prevalent as it is now by a long shot. 96 or 7 right in there. And I was doing warehouse jobs, and I got laid off from my job, and I'm like, man, this sucked. I did a good job, and I got laid off. I don't want to work for anyone ever again. I'm trying to work for myself. So I picked up a small business magazine. I'm looking through the back, and it's like, hey, you can do painless dent repair. We'll sell you the tools and a training video on VHS, and you'll be rolling.
Perfect.
I was from the Ding King. And believe it or not, I still have in my truck like some of those original tools. Like, they're really good. They're stainless, and I never broke any of them.
Awesome.
But I got the VHS tape, and I was like, let's go. I took out my table out of my kitchen and put a Ford Escort hood in there. And I didn't like. I'm not ashamed to tell you I had no idea what I was doing, but even to the point that like I wasn't. Sometimes so little that you'll follow directions blindly without using any common sense. I'm just going to do exactly what the video says without stepping back and seeing like, what's the purpose of what they're telling me? So like they had you making high spots, in a circle as part of the first lessons, but they go use this tool, drill a hole to hang an S hook. And then I'm like, okay, this makes sense. So I have the S hook at the edge of the hood, the dent's in the middle. This tool is only like maybe a 28-inch tool or something, 30 inches. So if the tool's like all the way in, like this, right? Like no leverage.
No leverage.
I'm like, and like barely making high spots. Like, man, this stuff is way harder than it looks. Like, I don't understand what to do. And it's so stupid now. You're like, dude, you didn't have any leverage. But I was so like, do exactly where they say to do it.
Right.
Then of course you figure it out. You go, oh, I'm stupid, right? Like
that's how Keith started doing steroids, by the way.
Blind.
I gotta get stronger.
But I didn't figure it out by myself. I like some guys did. I didn't. But I understood what was supposed to happen, and I kind of got excited about it because I could see some progress.
Yeah.
And I had one of my high school buddies was a lot porter. Shout out to Jason Wren if he's on your show or on a repeat. He's up in Alaska now. But he was a lot porter at the Mercedes store, and they had a legit dent guy who was the partner of this dent wizard guy. And he gave me the cell phone number for the guy, and I just kept calling until he gave me a shot. And he had like 7 or 8 techs at that point. Some were good, some were bad. And I got to go hang out with all of them and work. And I thought that was great. Like, I see this guy's repairs are nice. I'll do what he does. This guy's repairs are terrible. But then from the production standpoint, I'm like, this guy's numbers are good. What does he do? This guy's numbers are bad. Oh, he shows up to the lot and reads a newspaper and drinks a Mountain Dew and smokes a pack of cigarettes before he even gets out of the truck. Okay,
Yeah.
check. That's what I will do if I want to make no money. I'll be like the other guy if I want to make money. And I was just super hungry because I never really had a job at that point where I could dictate my own income if I worked harder.
Mhm.
That's a game changer about our industry. So once I figured it out, it was off to the races. I took a lot of pride in my work, and I got fast, and I enjoyed the pole environment. I loved it.
That's awesome. I gotta ask too, where'd you come up with the name Bullseye?
So there's some thought behind it because even people in the industry would mix up Dent Pro, Dent Wizard, Dent Masters, Master Dent, Pro Dent. Like, no disrespect to Shane, but like that's how everything with Dent in it, number one was taken, and number two didn't mean anything to anybody else.
Right.
So I didn't want to get lost in the mix. So I decided to pick a word that has a shape or a symbol that everybody already knows. They don't have to learn it, So a bullseye, everybody knows what that is. So I thought that's a word, and you already know it's red and white because a bullseye is like that. So it's like just hearing it, people think they know the brand already if they haven't seen it.
That's
So
smart.
that's
I like it.
That was a thought process behind that.
That wasn't mine. Mine was just, I'm an Auburn
Eagle.
fan, so Eagle Dent Repair.
America.
So everybody's like, you must be an Auburn fan. And I'm like, no, it's because I have an eagle eye. I can spot the dents. And,
Mine was
I'll just make it up as it goes.
I just thought Dapper Dent Repair
That was
had a
pretty
ring
cool,
to it. That's all I have with mine. Now I get called. You watch that? What's that movie? Dapper Dan, man.
Brother,
yeah.
Oh, brother, we're out there. That's what everybody comes in. You watch that? Oh, brother, we're out there. I'm like, yes, I get it. Dapper Dan, man.
You ain't even bona fide.
That's awesome. Now I got to watch that movie again.
Something that a lot of people don't realize is Keith gets pigeonholed into his brain and his ability to market and sales. He's a freaking legit dent guy too. I don't think anybody really realizes how good Keith is.
I firmly believe it. Yeah,
he's really good. I don't really think he wants people to know, to be honest with you.
I feel like if he wasn't a really good dent guy, then he wouldn't have the passion to make the business what it is, make PDR College. Like, I don't feel like you'd be going out on a limb for PDR College if you wasn't a really good dent guy. So,
I mean, that's how you get good, is like continuing to try to get better all the time. And I love that. And for a while, I did think I was like going to be a contender and win the Dent Olympics. And I think I competed twice. I think just twice. And both times, super happy with my repair, amazing repair, but not perfect.
Yeah.
Customer perfect, but not literally perfect. And the other guys were just like, I mean, that's perfect. There's nothing. There's like, it's back. There's nothing you can say about it. I mean, I know the dents have been getting worse over the years. And to be fair, I haven't paid much attention to the competition anymore because I have my company that I'm repping at the show. So I can't go out and look and eyeball them. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the show, I do go and look. I never really see the winners because it's all being put away and everything. But I see a lot of the tries. I think that as a whole, the competitors were better back in the day, like when Shane won, because the side of the car would look pretty good. And it was like picking between the best. Now it's like the side is freaking junk, except for the couple that win it are perfect.
Right.
The dents have gotten worse, to be fair.
The dents have
gotten. That's what I was going to say. I know that they're making them deeper every year. And in fact, I know they were telling me they are intentionally making them harder. But that being said, like my repairs were good, but I was like, okay, these other guys are on another level. And like when the guys like Shane, Mark Circus used to win it all the time, they're just special dudes. And I personally think a lot of them just have an artistic side to them, and it's coming in through the dent repair. Like Shane does all kinds of artwork that he doesn't talk about. Dude, he carves these lifelike wooden ducks and fish, and he bends rebar and makes sculptures out of it. Like he just does it for himself. He doesn't make a big scene about it. Yeah, same. So, those guys like the Kaz's of the world, like they just have this artistic side, and they bring it into the dent repair. I don't have that. I like it, but I don't have it, and I don't carve or anything like that. So I can do an amazing repair, but there's just levels to the game. I'm not.
And also I'm sure you could get it absolutely perfect, but that the time slot and everybody watching you, and there's a lot that goes into it. And there are, to people like Shane and Bryce and all them and Jean that can just freaking fly through that son of a gun and just make it absolutely perfect in a very, very timely manner. And I'm not the speed guy.
I've learned a lot about speed from all these guys, from Shane, from Jean, even from some less known techs. I just watch them and learn. I'm like, oh, okay. I've been like, for example, at the Dental Olympics, I've told this story a few times on our show, but my style is very like slow and controlled, little pushes, right? And I'm trying to bring it up super clean, but that's time consuming.
Yeah.
And there was another buddy, Dave Pinto from the Door Ding days, and he's like, I don't know what you guys are making a big deal about these dents. These are 15-minute dents. I'm like, no, dude, you have to come see them in person. They're not 15-minute dents. He's like, I'll promise you they're 15-minute dents. And same thing. I'm like, come on, big boy, come on down there.
Yeah.
Right there, watching when he did his dent, and he had a big plastic tip and just went, whoop, whoop. I'm like, ooh, that thing is done. But he recovered it, and it looked great. He didn't win or anything, but it was a beautiful repair.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you can move a lot faster. You can move a lot more metal and still recover. So it was like a little light bulb moment, like, oh, I don't have to, like, it doesn't have to stay super clean the whole way. And that's, I learned that from Shane too. He'll beat the hell out of him and get him up close. And you're like, it's done. You can't recover. He's like, you can't recover, but watch this. Okay,
watch
so
my little blending.
Right.
But he's so accurate. He can do that. Like he can bunch up a dent and then go push every low in that bunch. And then it's glass again. And a lot of people don't have that skill, you know, like he does. Like he can go right to the bottom of a deep dent with a sharp tool and know he's dead underneath it. I can't see it.
Right.
I have to bring it up soft. And then when I can see the bottom, I can fix it. But I don't have that skill of putting a point in a sphere like he does. He'll put it right in the right spot.
Right. Well, I was going to say, you know why there's so many chewed up dents at the Dental Olympics now, right? It's because Shane keeps telling them all their work looks good on Facebook when they post it.
I'm an encourager.
It's a little PDR College joke for you guys if you ain't listened.
Yeah, that's a fun topic to talk about because I don't know if I'm right, but I feel like I am. Like, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, there's people posting garbage repairs and then saying they're amazing, and then guys coming over the top of them that are well respected or very good technicians themselves and saying, "Good job, man! Great, that's a great job," when it's clearly a terrible job.
Yeah,
like, you don't deserve any kudos. You deserve constructive criticism. Like, I'm not saying beat the guys up and tell them to get lost. They posted it, but it's like, hey, guess what? That isn't good.
Right.
There's another level you need to get to, and you need to keep working to get to it. Don't stop.
And those are the guys that they ignore, and then you get kicked out of a group. Anyway,
there's been a few times where Keith has given that constructive criticism, and I get the bad rap for being really harsh, but some of the stuff Keith said, I'm like, ooh.
See, I would rather have that. I would rather somebody be real with me than, shoot the shit and beat around the bush, and because I'm not going to get any better with somebody blowing smoke up my ass. So
all the guys that I've trained like to have this running joke that I'm really, really hard to please. But I'm like, this is the training room, dude. Like, if you can't get it right here, what are you going to do when I'm not there? My famous line when they were training and they come and get me and like, hey, I want you to come back and look at this. Like, why?
Yeah.
Is it flat? Or you just want me to come tell you that it's okay to be done and that's as good as it can be? So either come to get me because you're impressed and you want me to be impressed too, or just go back and keep working on it. Those are your two options.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Or you're just stuck. You don't know what to do. Great. I'll come and tell you.
Right. Yeah. I was about to say there is a third option.
But they're like, I think it looks really good. I'm like, yeah, but that's not the point. It should be fixed completely.
Yeah.
And it sucks. You all remember that part in your training when you know what it's supposed to look like and you can't do it. You just have to do the reps over and over and over and over. And I walked away from that shop a bunch of times wanting to quit. It just sucks.
Oh man, at the plant, when I first started, they gave me a lot of leeway. I should have been fired 30 times. I would get so angry and swing a tool halfway across the shop, in frustration, out of frustration. It's insanely frustrating. And then you look back and I actually told a customer the other day, they were asking I'll take people back in the shop every now and then if they seem like a cool customer. Now, how do you do that? We fix their hell car, and how do you do this? And I had a demolished Toyota Root, and I picked out a small dent, and I showed him what I was doing. I took 5 minutes with him, and he went, "That took you like 3 seconds." I went, "The first year that would have taken me an hour."
Yep.
And he's like, "No, I'm dead. To get it to this point would have taken me an hour."
If you would have got it there at all.
If I would have gotten it there at all.
Exactly.
But to the how we got started with the PDR College actually goes back to the Dental Olympics. So I've got the funny story that the trick Keith played on me when the stupid trophies were being given out. So we're sitting beside each other, and at number 10 was Mark Serkis, and Keith looks over and he goes, "Man, his repair was really good." He said, "Do you even remember this, Keith? This is how much BS this guy spews at me." Okay. And we were just in our infancy here as far as friendship. So thank you, Randy. So he says, "Man, I saw his repair and it's legit." I went, "Oh yeah?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's a little better than yours." And so I'm like, "All right, well,
I do remember that.
we're done here. We're done here." And then it gets down to 3 and number 2. And after they announced this number 2 guy, he goes, "Hey man, go get your trophy." And I went, "What?" And then they announced my name, and I look at him, I'm like, "What the?" He just smiled.
That's awesome.
He knew it. I guess that he had seen some of the ones that were not nearly as close as mine was, and he figured, well, he has to be. You
can't still bribe a judge, but there was a time when $100 would go a long way.
So after that, I guess you watch part of my repair in the Dental Olympics.
I watch a lot of it.
Okay, so I'm using only the blending hammer, and the only tech that's doing that at the time. I didn't use a knockdown. Made a show out of that. The first threw it up against the wall. People laughed, and Keith goes, "You've got to make your own hammer now." And I'm like, "Ugh."
Do I have to?
And then he goes, "People want to know that. People,
Yes.
Your seminars was packed house. The fire marshal said no more people in here. People want to know this. Make your own hammer." And in that same discussion, it was at dinner that night. He starts talking about, he wants to get into the information side, selling information, disseminating information, whatever. And I was like, "Well, let's do it together." I said, "You say people want my information and you want to get it out there. Let's do it together." And that's really how this whole thing started.
That's awesome.
Exactly that way. So,
we never actually went down the roads specifically that we thought we would of like selling, tutorials and stuff like that. But then we started the podcast just to get the information out there as well as we can. And at that point, I started realizing kind of at the same time that it's really not the dent skills that people need. They need to know how to run a business better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Put some thought behind what they're doing. It's just guys that are really good at bending sheet metal, but nobody teaches you this stuff. Most of us are like first generation business owners. We're just figuring stuff out. We didn't come from a line of entrepreneur success.
I do.
That's why he wore his hat. He knew that opportunity was going to arise.
What's on the hat? What does it say?
Jack's Bait Distributors.
Wholesale bait.
Wholesale. No, but that's what was great. Like with me, like I said, I was working at Dent Wizard when I started listening to the podcast, and I'm sitting there nerding out on it. I was like, all right, I'm getting my information now, so when I am ready, and it helped me a lot. Like it fast forwarded, the business a lot whenever we was able to start it up and run it. So I'm thankful for you guys doing it.
Kobe just said, Kobe's a cool guy. So
Yeah, we love Kobe.
One of his biggest struggles. Mine too. That in the beginning of this whole friendship with Keith, he would call me on the phone. I hate talking on the phone, so I never would call him. So he would call me, and I was headed out to do hail. And this discussion didn't stop me, but it changed my local business. And he's like, "Why are you going to do hail?" I said, "Well, because I can make more money." "Oh, that's not what you tell Keith." He's like, "I got $1 million for a dime-sized door team today." I bring up I can't do that in Greenville, Keith. Well, I will remember this for the rest of my life. He goes, "Answer me this: how much does an S550 cost in Greenville, South Carolina?" And the answer is the same as it costs in Sacramento, California. It's like, the money is there; you just got to find it. Now, we will argue about this until the day we die. Also, there just aren't as many people here with that money to find. Danny, I don't know if you've ever tried to call me. Send me a text first.
Yeah, right.
And I may allow you to call me.
Phony calls.
Man, I hate
it could be accidentally showing my name, and that's why he's not picking up.
Oh man. But the amount that I've learned, and Keith too, I've learned more from Keith than anybody in this industry. But Keith has learned a ton too.
So much.
Especially when you're teaching stuff like this. If you ain't walking the walk, and I'll be the first to tell you, I think I've admitted it 1,000,000 times on the podcast, I don't always walk the walk, not even close. And a lot of times I'll argue with Keith about it because I'm not walking the walk. It's if you're not walking the walk, what are you doing? So it kind of put our feet to the fire to do what we say, what we're telling other people to do.
Right.
What's funny now, Shane, is I think you might be able to make more money doing hail. We're so much better at pricing both things now, but the percentage of the dollar figures is just so much higher on the hail that like the increase that we've made in our ability to ride them and justify them and fix them. Now it's hard to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
You can knock them dead on smashes all day, and you can do pretty dang good.
Especially if you're a fast hail guy. That's and I used to think I was fast, and I'm fast. But speaking of Dent Wizard, Andy,
yes, sir.
There were two guys that came and worked for us last year.
I agree, Hudson. You can't put a price on seeing your family every night.
Sure.
I fully agree.
That's what FaceTime is. That's what FaceTime is for.
Small price on it. You got a couple commas in there. I'll see them.
My wife would rather me not be there anyway. So kids are grown. So these two Dent Wizard guys had just left Dent Wizard. They came to work for us last year at a dealer gig up in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
These two, it was tiny damage, and the setup they had with hot boxes and stuff was amazing.
Really?
These guys were running through call. I'm like, "You're hot boxing those roofs?" Yep. And it's like done with them in 6 seconds.
Wow.
So I go there to QC it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's good." So we're like, "Yeah, but it's super light damage. Let's see what they got on the real stuff."
Mm-hmm.
Bring them to Indiana to a dealer gig, and they're
smoked it.
They're running through stuff, and
that's awesome.
I'm like, and they're super humble. I'm like, "You guys are just lightning." He goes, "You got to be to work for the Wizard, man."
You really do.
These cars are like $350. To the tech.
Yeah.
Holy crap. But
if you haven't had a chance to see a really good hail tech, it's astounding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How clean.
I've heard
John
of some.
Yeager. I'll throw John Yeager's name out there for that. His work is outstanding.
Yeah. The Bob Koch, That's he's a clip faster than me, but he's not the fastest guy I've seen. But overall, man, that guy is he's just a solid guy too. Just
Awesome.
That's my guy on Hale for sure.
Yeah.
We've done so many podcasts. I feel like everything I talk about, we've talked about before, because there's only so much dent repair stuff you can talk about for 500 hours. But when you talk about getting good at Hale versus door dings, like a Hale guy is going to do 300, 400, 500 dents on a car. You're not going to do 500 dents in a month in a retail setting.
Right.
And they're going to do 1 car a day or 2 cars a day. Like, you're just never going to catch them on reps. You're never going to catch them. So they just they basically got 5 years or 7 years to your 1 of experience. So you're not going to get as good as they are as far as like replicatable speed and precision and and overall consistency. You're just not, because they're also not going to get stitched up creases and stuff through a door edge and
smashes and stuff
and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like a sniper versus a
machine gun. Yeah, right.
Yeah, there are very few techs out there that are fast at Hale and can do like legit smash. I mean, there aren't many. Jesse Browse is one of them that he's super fast and super good at big dent stuff.
He's got that Chuck Norris vibe where he just uses pure rage for half of his repairs.
Pure rage. I love it.
Awesome.
Much like me, he comes across differently online than he actually is in real life. So.
Oh yeah.
Hey, so we're I know we got to end this, right on time, because Keith, you got to go coach soccer, and so let's we've got about 8 minutes left, 7.5 minutes. Let's just get a quick brief. Each one of y'all, married, how long you been married, kids, just that part of you. So Shane, we'll start with you.
Okay. Married, how long? 95. 28 years. 28.
Sweet.
Yeah, 28 years. 2 kids, 23.
They had an arranged marriage. They were 12 years old.
23-year-old daughter, 19-year-old boy. That's it.
And you?
No, he's 20. Sorry, he's 20 now. My bad.
Is he following Dad's path, or has he kind of got his own path?
No. He's following a path. I can tell you that.
It's just not that.
College or not college?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's doing some radiology. My daughter's a nurse, so.
Is he going to Clemson?
No. My daughter did. My daughter went to Clemson.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Nursing school there. He's just doing tech school right now. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a good future in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got brother-in-laws that are doing that and stuff, and
it ain't going nowhere. Everybody's still gonna get sick.
No.
Yeah.
So,
And it pays good. So
Yeah.
All right.
Keith, how about you?
I'm coming up on my 20-year wedding anniversary this month, actually. I got
Awesome.
4 kids. My first is a boy. He's 17, just turned 17. And I got 3 girls, 14, 11, 9.
Nice.
House
that
full of
14-year-old daughter he has. That's my kid.
Yeah.
And we got to see her earlier.
If she gets kicked out of that house, she has a place to stay on the East Coast.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. Oh, happy anniversary. I'm sure we may not talk again for this month, but
Yeah, thanks,
happy
man.
anniversary. And that's awesome. 28 and 20 years, and we're on 23, 24 this year.
We just celebrated 8 last
23.
week. That's why we was in Chattanooga at the river.
Yeah.
Me and Amanda.
There's another trend online that you can see with dent repair guys, and that is they punch up above their weight in spouses quite often.
Absolutely.
Shane and I have that trend going strong, both of us.
Very strong.
Same here. Mine's way too much smarter than me. Like, arguments suck. I finally just got to the point. I'm like, you right. Just go ahead and get you right.
Yep.
And then
Yeah, I
sometimes
couldn't
one
handle
will
that.
hit it.
Couldn't handle that. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, you're like, no, we're gonna fight to the death on this one.
Yeah, James. Mine's easy. I got married in 2000, so it should be easy to remember every year.
I was graduating, you old man.
I was still young. Goodness.
No, but like I said, I just want to harp on how much we love what you guys have done for the industry. Like Shane's done some training. Brendan talked highly you and your training, Brendan Yeager. And then Keith, I think without you coaching Gene Fetty, he wouldn't be coaching us right now in the 20 group. So I'm thankful for that.
Oh, that's cool. I forgot you guys are in that 20 group. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of been passed on through generations now. I like to think of it. So. Gene told me a story. He's like, because you have him have certain goals he had to set before he got on the call with you. He'd be like, last minute, he's like, oh, shit, I got to get this done. Like, Keith ain't going to have it.
Yeah, that personal accountability by your buddies is important. Shane and I have like ebbed and flowed over the years about holding each other accountable on personal goals or business goals or whatever. And, there's some times when you just don't have the energy. You just like, I'm just doing life right now. Or like, you got that, Brandon, you got that 75 hard energy once in a while. And you're like, let's go. I'm doing it. And then other times it's like, it's not the season. I just
I did it by myself, and then after MTE we got a whole group, and Andy completed it. But about 3 weeks
unwillingly, might I add,
2-3 weeks in, my shoulder freaking went out again. I'm like,
I remember that.
Yeah, he signed me up for it. He's like, you're doing it, and then he back. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? Part of this? Like, why did
now I'm to the point where I just got some new shoes and stuff in. I'm going to start it again here next week or so.
I got
nothing like revamping a training program than new shoes.
Right.
Yeah.
I got some for work and I got some for walking. So
Jeff said DBAP.
Yeah, DBAP.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I got to do something myself. I'm back up to 210. It's time to shed back a little bit more. I don't like it. I was like, I worked too hard to get all this off, and then here I am. Just throwing it back at it. So
we bought a bunch of. Shane's going to be down about 5% body fat in about 17 minutes. It's insane the transformation this guy makes, dude.
Oh yeah, mind blowing.
Insane.
Well, Keith, you made a big transformation too. You got jacked up and stuff
for a minute, and then I got cocky. Very easy. Like man, I could have I could have a cheat meal. Like, look at me. And then a cheat meal, like maybe just one cheat day. You know what I'm saying?
That's the problem.
And then the day turns into a week, and then
no. A weekend.
It does with me.
That's reasonable. It's just a weekend. Because we're out of town, we're partying, we're having fun, we're having a couple cakes, a couple steaks, and then it just goes. Before you know it, you're like right back to where you started. It's like anybody can get there, but I got a lot of respect for the people that stay in that world.
Right.
Exactly.
I've got a buddy who talks about this a lot. Actually, he's a trainer, and it's like he has a different outlook than I've ever heard. But it's almost like a stoic outlook where he actively avoids things that he thinks he will like because he doesn't want to get excited about something and and have an emotional reaction.
That'd be hard.
No, I never really met somebody that looks at it like that, but he's like, no, I don't eat that. Like, I would probably like it. I don't go to concerts. I don't do stuff like. No, it's like I'm just staying right here.
Don't have sex because I kind of think I'm gonna like it.
My mind went too. I'm like, I'm avoiding that outlook.
Oh goodness. Well, guys, man.
Yeah.
What were you gonna
say? Thanks for having us on, boys. I appreciate it.
Hey,
absolutely.
No problem.
Thank you guys for coming on. I was stoked when you both. I was like, man, it's a long shot. I don't know how busy these guys are, but we'll ask. And I was super stoked when you both said you could make it. So you made my day.
You guys got those black leg tension straps in your shops?
We do not have that. I just saw the ones that Kobe was using.
Yeah, they're almost free. They're super cheap, but like the strap is the way for tension, dude. If you're doing tension blocks and stuff, the strap.
It moves everything out of the way.
Well, and no collateral damage.
No collateral damage. That's the big thing. Is no collateral damage. Yeah.
And they come off in like 2 seconds.
Okay, I seen y'all was using them a lot at the advanced skill seminar, right?
Yeah, a decent amount. Yeah,
Okay.
but you just rip them backwards instead of like trying to pry them off and like denting the panel or getting the heat gun. You just rip them backwards, and then the glue comes off easy. So it goes from like a 5-minute ordeal to a 5-second ordeal, and you don't have any of that driving stuff down in and around. So
I've seen this guy using it a lot in his video since he came back from skill seminar.
yeah,
That's
it's good.
Well, everybody go to Black Plague and order that right now because I'm going to do it too. So.
Yeah, immediately.
I've been trying to stack up on my tools to get me going back on regular big smashes after I get done with this hailstorm. I've got an entire list of about 30 vehicles up here that are regular dents that are all call when ready to schedule. So
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day.
All right.
Like,
Anyway,
I would do it for
hey.
free if you just bring it back later.
I've done that. I swear I've done that.
I think we've all done that. But anyway, hey, thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Giving us some of your time and
It's been fun.
everybody hear about it. But have fun coaching soccer.
Thanks everybody for
and
watching. We had a lot of people watching tonight. Obviously,
We did.
I mean,
There'll be a lot of downloads.
I tell you that.
There'll be a lot of downloads once I decide to put it up on iTunes.
Now, do it now.
Get it up there because I want my trophy from Bryce.
All right, brothers. We appreciate
All right,
it.
boys.
And thanks
Yeah,
everybody
guys.
for watching,
See y'all.
and we'll see y'all later.
Bye,
Peace out.
everybody.